Well, here's where the waters of Dora Creek enter the Eel River. This is a creek that flows almost year-round, but most of the year it flows under the gravel bar once it gets to a certain point. So you can see this is a lot of water coming down here, and especially if you have any familiarity with this creek, this is a lot of water for this creek. But once it reaches this gravel bar, it goes under the gravel bar, right into the gravel bar, and the water evidently seeps through the gravel bar and into the river. And it almost makes it over the top of the gravel bar, but peters out right there. All that water that we saw, but it does make it into the river. You can see the ripples coming out from under the gravel. Just to see how permeable this gravel bar is, you can see over here that this pond on the side is a pond that I'm quite sure doesn't come from an earlier flood stage of the river so much as that this gravel bar is utterly permeable, and it looks to me like the pond is about the same level as the river. Further supporting this idea is that when we come to this pond year-round, it's almost always clear. It's quite clear. Not perfectly clear, but it's quite clear, as you can see here. And so it makes it pretty evident to us. There's a little cloudy right there, but it's never any worse than that that we've ever seen. And you can see these waters are pretty clear. And as I said, they're about the same level as the river. And I have to climb up the bank because the sand and gravel are so soft there because, again, they seem to be very saturated with water. As you can see over here, this is something we don't usually see, but you can see a little bit of dripping, perhaps, of water coming down off of the land, seeping down into this pond. But that's certainly not the source of this pond. The source of this pond, I'm quite sure, is just the water of the river that saturates underneath of this gravel bar and enters the pond that way. So, pretty amazing. Now, I think I have to do this. We're in a hurry, but I think we have to do this. I want to show you something more about Dora Creek, and we will trace it as far as we dare. Coming again, just for a review, here is where Dora Creek goes into the river. These little ripples, and then to get there, it has to go under the surface of this great gravel bar. And now, let's go. Hey, you coming with me? And trace where the waters of this wonderful creek that eventually, probably with no one's real knowledge, got an explorer named after it. Dora the Explorer. Nothing to do with each other. Unless someone who liked Dora Creek happened to have been involved in the creation of the children's series. But here we are. We're traveling up Dora Creek. We're going to try not to get our feet wet. So, we walk on rocks across the creek. And now we come around. It's It's always fun, of course, to do this. You can see pieces of concrete. There was another bridge here that there are remnants of that went across the river. But most of the time when we come here, this creek is not like this. But it is now. So we are going to follow this creek until we decide not to. Because like I said, we're kind of in a hurry to get back home. But as some of you know, these things can be quite irresistible to me when there's a quest like this. So, whoops, see? Walking on water. Hope I'm not giving you any motion sickness. But here we are. And we're coming up to where the water goes under Highway 101. So I'll just, in my probably futile effort to keep my feet dry, I'll go across here. I do have a companion, by the way, Sir Timothy of Does a Lot. And so, let's see. We shall get our feet a little wet. Zoom! I'll leave Timmy to get his feet wet. I'm going this way, up by these redwood sorrel. And behind these big leaf maple trees, past the miner's lettuce. And here's a little concrete shelf that goes along the waterway they have made for Dora Creek as it encounters Highway 101. Okay, so now we have to do this. We weren't going to do this, but we're going to do this. I come down and you can see this is a culvert that comes under, and I know we gotta do this. We are going to continue to follow Dora Creek through the culvert. Can you see the light at the end of the tunnel? There's the light at the end of the tunnel, and we kind of jiggle along with our feet straddling the waters of the creek, which you may recall, these waters formed that nice creek out there. So it's quite a bit of volume of water in the bottom of this culvert that we are straddling and jiggling our way along to get to the original reason that we stopped here, going way back into the history of our family, of coming to see what we will see here at the end of this culvert. Some of you already know what it is. I don't even know if you can understand in all this echoiness and water sounds, but this will be worth it. Especially for you. If you've hung in there so far on this video, we are almost to the prize. Oops, I got my toe a little wet. Okay, there's Dora Creek. Here's what we're doing with our feet. Okay. And we come up the face of this lovely stump. And here's what's on the other side. We don't know if it has an official other name, but these are the falls on Dora Creek. I used to see them as we would drive on our way to Rio Lindo Academy to see my brothers and sisters. Just look left at the exact perfect time, and I'd see, wow, there's a waterfall. We don't have waterfalls around here, but I guess we do. And so, this has always drawn me ever since I was a kid. So we take the time to explore it. There's my son. He's been coming here since he was one, probably, or somewhere thereabouts. And there's usually wildflowers around. Up there, there's some scarlet delphinium. Probably can't see that really. Over here, they're not really blooming. I don't see any blooms anyway. But it's a great environment for lots of spring wildflowers. You can see the thimbleberry leaves, and there's a lot of different kinds of saxifrage, members of the saxifrage family, that cling to these walls and just thrive here in this moist environment. I think usually, I'm not sure what time in the season it comes up, but there's usually something called Suxdorf's Roman Zophia that appears and covers the wall. Here are some of the buds of the saxifrage. I believe these will turn into what's called a mountain boykinia. But anyway, it's absolutely lovely. So, was that worth going through the tunnel? I'm certainly glad that you accompanied me. And so, anyway, just to say a personal hello. And now, back to you, waterfall.